everybody, welcome back to Harris Family Adventures. If you're new here, my name is Heather, my husband's name is Justin, we have a 10-year-old son named Reese, and we are embarking on a year of travel. So again, if you're new here, we've already done our first trip, and that was to Branson. Go ahead and look for the Branson playlist. I have packing videos, I have a video about the shows and where we stayed. We have done our second trip of the year now, and this one was just Justin and I, and we went to the Valentin Imperial Riviera Maya. So that is what this is going to be about. There are going to be a couple videos. I don't know how many. I have a lot of things that I want to talk about. So this is part one. There's definitely two parts. This is part one. But if you like travel and you like this kind of content, be sure to stick around because I am going to be making videos about Reese and I traveling to Italy next month, and then as our family travels to different places in the United States. So be sure to subscribe and then hit the bell, because if you don't hit the bell, then you're not going to get a notification that I have a new video. And I had kind of had once a week videos, but I'm getting a little bit off that. Sometimes I'm going to have more than that. So be sure to click the bell. Okay, let's get to it. I have made 3 previous videos even before going to the Valentin. So if you're interested, go ahead and look for those in the playlist as well. So one I made was my packing list for Mexico, because we have been lucky enough to go several times, and everything that I plan to take. The second one I made was my actual packing list, or my actual packing video, using list. I also made a video about kind of a typical day at the Valentin, but I had said the disclaimer was we hadn't been there since January 2020. So some things had changed and some things are still the same. So this is the 4th video. Again, there will be at least one more, and this is going to be most recently. So today is Monday, and we got back Saturday night. So I wanted to try to get this recorded because everything was fresh in my mind. So starting off with day 1. Again, if you're new here, we live in Nebraska. We do not live in Omaha. That is most often the airport that we travel out of. However, sometimes I have flown out of Grand Island. I have flown out of Lincoln. I have gone down to Kansas City to fly out of there as well. But this time we did fly out of Omaha, which is most often what we do. The Omaha airport is pretty simple. There's gate A and there's gate B, and I think at each one there's just a total, 2 terminals, A and B, but there's just 10 gates in each one. The bummer part, it is about an hour and 15-minute drive from our house to the Omaha airport, so it can just kind of extend that travel day a bit. So we got up at 1:30 in the morning, got ready, got all of those last minute things packed, and drove there. We almost hit a deer, so that was really scary. I think probably most places in the United States that's something you have to worry about, but definitely here it was just ran across the interstate. It was really scary. So if you're on I-80 at like 3 in the morning, that can happen. We got there shortly before 4 a.m. It was like 3:56. So here's what was confusing. And we flew United Airlines. The kiosks looked like they were open. So there was probably 10 of them, and people were standing at them and doing things. So I was like, oh, okay. And I scanned our thing. We were able to get everything. I checked in the day before on the app. Use the United Airlines app, first travel tip. And then it said printed luggage tag, see agent behind the counter. Well, there's no agent. So I was like, oh, I must have done something wrong. So then we slid down to another one. There was an older couple next to using a different kiosk. So I was like, hey, we're trying. They're like, yeah, we don't really know what's going on either. And I was like, okay. And I was just trying to be really positive. Sometimes on travel days, I get really stressed and I kind of turn negative. So I was just like, we're going to shift our mindset. We're doing cognitive behavior all day. CBT, here we go. And I was like, let's just hope that they're opening at 4. And sure enough, right about 4, the agents came out. And then they were able to get our luggage tags for us and take our luggage. I just wish the kiosks weren't on then, because it's misleading that they're on, but you can't check in. I will also say, using the travel ready part of the United Airlines app, and I don't know about other airlines because this is my first time flying since the pandemic and all that kind of stuff. Weeks before, I had been able to scan our passports, and I had to be very specific, lining up the corners and all of that kind of thing, but it did make it easier. they didn't even really need to see our passports when they just like glanced at them, and then we were on our way. Because I know the couple next to us, they were trying to scan their passports, and it was kind of a big deal. So that was a thing that was good, and I will have that done for Italy as well. Just to, even something, if it just saves 5 minutes, that just makes life so much easier. So then we were on our way. We were up through security. Again, it's 4 a.m. in the Omaha airport. It took very little time, and just sat at our gate. There's, I think, one place to get food in the whole terminal, the whole B terminal. So we just kind of sat there in the dark and waited. It was a long wait. And now this is going to be in a theme. You know, if you've watched my other videos, there tends to be a theme that emerges. Our flight was slightly delayed, but I think it was delayed like 10 minutes, but we landed on time. And that's not that big of a deal, but you're going to see this theme emerge. We flew from Omaha to Chicago, and O'Hare was crazy. So I do have my notes down here just to make sure I hit all the points that I wanted to, and I put crazy in all capital letters. Like, again, I had not really traveled. I hadn't flown anywhere. I hadn't been in an airport since March of 2020. It was nuts. Like, it was bananas. So we got there, I think it was probably around 7:30, and then we left around 10:30. So we were there for a couple hours, and it was just pure people. Like, it was so busy. We got breakfast. They had like a butter crust pizza. Not really a fan of that, but that's fine. Great charging capabilities. I think I've mentioned my phone's battery is not as great as it used to be. It dies pretty quickly. So I was just kind of always looking for charging possibilities. So we were able to find a nice spot at a counter and charge everything and eat our pizza and watch planes, and that was great. Again, our flight was slightly delayed. But it did land in time. I think this flight was actually delayed like an hour. The plane coming in had been coming from Newark, and the pilot said like, oh, I have to adjust positions, my foot's falling asleep, that the Northeast had been pretty crazy that day, and so they had kind of had some delays. We landed on time. So he was like, we're gonna really give it the gas. Yeah, they really did, because it was only a 3-hour flight, and we were like an hour late taking off. They really landed on time, or they really gave it the gas. I will say this, and I don't know her name, and she was trying to be really positive and like, you guys are going to Cancun, but she had us line up really early. Like, we then stood in our little lanes for probably 30 minutes, which I don't know why she did that. And I know there's assigned seats. It's not first come, first serve. We had one small thing that needed to go in the overhead compartment because we checked one bag on the way down. So we had, Justin had a personal item and a small carry-on, and then I just had my purse. So we didn't need the overhead bin space. I know that you don't need to line up as soon as they say your group, but we did. So then we stood there for a long time. So that was a little bit annoying. Okay, we did get lunch on the plane, so that was good. It was like chicken with some kind of sauce on it, and then it was on, they said rice, but it was like a flat rice, kind of, almost like a pasta. I don't know. It was super good. My stomach was a little bit upset, so I just kept drinking ginger ale. I think the flight attendant was surprised about how much ginger ale I could drink. He kept saying like, oh, more ginger. Oh, more ginger, more, okay, great, yep. So I drank a lot of ginger ale, and it really helped. I love ginger ale. I'm gonna have some for lunch in just a bit here. And that ginger ale can help kind of settle an upset stomach, and it totally worked because I didn't have any more problems, so that was awesome. Okay, if you saw my video, I'll try to put a tag, about paperwork. I had said that when you are traveling to Mexico, every time that I've been before, but it's been like 2.5 years, there were 2 separate forms. So one was a form that each household had to fill out, and the other was a form that each person had to fill out. I do all of the paperwork filling out. So typically I would have to fill out 2 forms, one for our household and one for myself. And then I would typically do Justin and Reese's too. This time they said, if you need a form, let us know. Now the lady in front of us was pretty loud, but she said, well, yeah, we all need forms. And they said, well, some people do it online. And she said, And she has been traveling recently. She's opening a wellness center. I happened to hear her whole conversation. She was very loud. That 3 weeks ago, she tried to do it online. And when she got to Cancun, they wouldn't accept it. So she's like, I think you have to do the form. The flight attendants there just seems to be some confusion. And luckily, since we were towards the front of the plane, we got a form. I know they ran out towards the back of it, but it was also just one form per person. So I don't know what the other one used to be, but that doesn't exist anymore. So we did get that filled out. Of course, they did not have pens. They always say, like, we don't have any pens. So I had 3 pens. We were well prepared for that. I will say the entertainment was on your device only. And this was for both of our flights that day. And on the United app, they had an awesome selection. I got to watch the Friends reunion, which I am a diehard Friends fan and hadn't got to watch that yet. I got to watch all of... what's the Sex and the City, like the HBO Max. They have 3 episodes. I got to watch all of those. So it was great, but it's on a little screen. Like, and then you have that, and then you have, I don't like that option. But both of our flights, there was a wide variety, but you had to use your device. Because also occasionally I'd want to check like the United app to, I don't know, see different things. Well, then I have to stop what I'm watching, check something else, then get back on the show I was watching. It would always start from the beginning, trying to find where I was. It was just, little things in life, but it was kind of annoying. So I don't love that feature, and I'm just really hoping internationally we're gonna have, international to Italy, we should have in-seat screens, right? For Italy, I don't want to stare at this. No, I don't. Okay, so then we landed like 5 minutes late, which was amazing. And I had said in my previous video, kind of the Cancun airport experience is you might be really lucky and only have to wait like 5 minutes to get through immigration, or you might be in the line for like 2 hours. Well, I need to revise that because we were in the line for literally the amount of time it took us to walk through all the barriers. Like, we couldn't walk through them fast enough. Like, they were just standing there and waiting. They should have just taken the barriers out. But it was awesome. Like, we literally couldn't walk. We were walking as fast as we could just to try to get to it. So that was fantastic. I will say, and I think I had showed you, I got these little things. They hold your passport and they hold your immunization card. Mexico doesn't care about immunization cards, but I like just having those together. And Italy, they will care about it. So I had them together. But anytime we needed to show our passport, we had to take it out of the little thing. So I'm going to keep the little things. I'm still going to take them with us to Italy, but it was kind of like, oh, I'd take this out. What was nice when we went through immigration, they tore off the bottom of the form that we had filled out for both of us, and you have to have that to leave the country later, and it's just this little piece of paper. So what was really nice is on the vaccination side of the passport holder, that little card just slipped right in there, so at least I knew all of the things were together and ready to go back with us to the airport when we left. So they're not as handy as they could be, but they did help keep that card. Then we did have to wait like 25 minutes for our luggage. And I know people are like, well, don't check luggage. That's part of the reason you don't check luggage. Listen, I'm not trying to deal with sunscreen. Yes, you can take, it's just, life is easier. So yes, we did have like a 25-minute wait, which was kind of annoying. But again, on the United app, I saw like, oh, our luggage is on the plane. Oh, now our luggage has been taken off the plane, is en route to baggage. So it wasn't like, is our luggage here? It was just kind of a wait. And I was like, okay, we got this. Now we'll get through customs. Nope. There were no customs. Like, we were walking and then we were gonna walk through these like sliding doors kind of thing. There was a dog off to the side, nowhere near where the passengers were. I mean, maybe he has just a super, super good nose. And as we walked out, and I think I have some video here, I was like, oh, are we entering the Shark Tank? Like, is this, wait, where's like the green button, red button? Where's, what? I don't, so we just walked out. We made it to the Shark Tank. They weren't as aggressive. I mean, part of it is I've been there, so I know that they're going to be shouting at me, but no one actually approached us. They were just shouting. So that was awesome. And then we got outside. So it was really, really fast. That whole thing was really nice. Now, if you've been to the Cancun airport, when you walk out of the Shark Tank doors, you're outside and there's kind of a big wide sidewalk, kind of like the main sidewalk. And then there's also sidewalks that go off to the side. The main sidewalk, as of June 7th, I think it was that we went, June 7th, 2020, was closed. They're working on some kind of construction there. I mean, they had it completely walled off. So it's some kind of major construction. It's not just like they're filling a crack. Like, I don't know what they're doing. So that threw us off a little bit. Now, you guys, if you saw the other video about Canada Transfers, that's the transfer company that we were going to use. I had said, I love them. They've got a map. They've got directions. They had emailed me before about, we see that you're landing in Terminal 3. Here's how to find us. I was really pumped about that. And we must have just walked by it. It is still, it's not the Shark Tank, but there's still just a lot of confusion. It's hot, it's sunny. There's a lot of people standing there from different transfer companies, and I didn't see anyone immediately. So my plan had been to walk down the main sidewalk. That was closed. So we kind of walked off to the right, and then you get a little bit frustrated sometimes. And so I was like, let's just step to the side. Like, let me just look at my papers again. And we had been stepped to the side for maybe 5 seconds. And the Canada Transfers guy was like, are you Canada Transfers? And I was like, yes, we are. And he had this huge board with our name on it. I don't know if we walked by him. I don't know how he knew that we were. He probably just maybe saw somebody that was lost. I don't know. But he was like, oh, yep. And I did end up giving him one copy of our like voucher that we had paid for it. And he said, I have a friend, he is waiting for you. And then he took our bags and he walked not super far, and there was a nice, I don't know types of cars, there was a nice SUV, leather seats, nice and cool, waiting for us. We hopped in and away we went. Now let me tell you, there have been times that we've been standing there for 10 minutes before a car comes up, and then sitting in the car for 20 to 25 minutes waiting for other passengers to join before we even started the drive. So the fact that literally from the time we left the airport, like we got outside to we were in the car driving, was like 5 minutes. It was awesome. And then because it was just the two of us, and again, it said $78 with taxes, it ended up being $90. It's 1 to 3 people. So it's not per person, it's for the car. And the car holds 1 to 3 people, $90 private. Awesome. So nice. Our driver spoke some English. We were able to talk with him a little bit, and that was fun too. So nice. So nice. 10 out of 10. Highly recommend. We'll always do Canada Transfers from now on. I will always do that. I do know my parents are actually going to go to Valentin later this year. The couple that had gone along with us, they were staying a little bit longer. If you stay 5 or more nights, you get transportation included, which is a super nice benefit. You don't make money off of the deal because it still costs more to stay 1 extra night than it does to pay for a transfer. But if you want to stay 5 nights, then that's included. But if you're not, Canada Transfer. And I would assume Canada Transfers is out of other airports, not just Cancun. Highly recommend. 10 out of 10. Fantastic experience. Okay. Let's see. So yes, we got to the resort. Check-in was super speedy. Again, like it was just like everything was on Heather time, and it was awesome. Helped me with my positive attitude. Sometimes when we've got there, we've had to sit we had to sit in the air conditioning and drink the champagne that they brought us for like 20 minutes waiting to check in. We literally didn't even sit at a different table. The bellboy, he wasn't a boy, bellman? I think they call them bellboys, but that seems offensive. Walked us in the lobby and it's like, here you go. And we were like, oh, okay. And we sat down and the guy got right to it. There were a couple extra forms because of COVID that we had to fill out, just like we acknowledged that we might get it. I don't know. He told us we would schedule our COVID test. We'll get there. That's going to be part 2, 3, 4. We'll see. I'm at 20 minutes, so who knows. So yeah, he told us we'd have to schedule that with a concierge, and we hadn't paid anything. We'd made the reservation without having to pay a single dollar, not even a deposit. And so he said, okay, like this is your bill. And yep, we knew that going into it. And I thought, well, should I give him my credit card now? Like, I mean, aren't you going to try to like upsell us on the room category and then we'll have to like pay extra? And I thought, whatever, we'll just have like 2 charges. No, he didn't try to sell us a thing, which If you've been to Mexico, I love it. It's fantastic. They're always trying to sell you something. He did not try to sell us an upgraded room. He did not try to sell us a massage or dinner on the beach or spa treatments. Nothing. Nada. He did not try to sell us one thing. He did say, now, have you been here before? And I thought, well, yeah, I checked that box when I made the reservation. And he said, celebrating anything? And I thought, yeah. I typed that into the information when I made the reservation. So we did say, like, oh, yep, we've been here 2 other times. This is our 3rd time here. We're celebrating our 15th anniversary. It's not while we're here. It was earlier, but this is kind of a celebration for that. And he made note of it. And then we were on our way. And we kind of like looked at each other like, should we say, like, do you have an upgraded room? We didn't. And we were ready to go. So we went out to the martini bar area, which is outside, right outside of the lobby. It's different than Don Miguel's. Don Miguel's has martinis, but the martini bar is outside. It's confusing. When you have a lot of bars, things like that happen. We got a drink, and then they were ready to take us in a golf cart to our building. We were building 4. We only went to be building 4 for the rest of our lives in a basic room. And Justin said, oh, if I would have, and again, we had seen just poking our heads in and out of other friends' rooms if we went, you know, if we were gonna be like, hey, we'll just swing by your room and grab you and we'll walk to dinner or something. We hadn't really spent time in one. And we'd also seen our friend's room after they'd stayed in them for a while, which, you know, if you stay in a hotel room, after 10 minutes, it kind of looks like a hot mess, right? It was so nice. Like I said, my parents are going later this year. They stopped by and I was like, guys, just stick with basic. Just stick with it. I have a room tour. I'm probably showing that now. It was so nice. The tub is not open to the bedroom, which some people, like I had said in my previous video, don't even like that upgrade. Like they will stick with basic to avoid that upgrade. I do think the vanity space was a little bit smaller. Just as I was like getting ready at night, it just kind of seemed like, oh, I feel like I need a little bit more room. Maybe I'd had that before, but really, like for vanity space. You know, we still had a couch. We still had 2 chairs. We had that in our other rooms. We still had the desk. That all fit in there, but it didn't feel crowded. Nice bed, ceiling fan, and then our balcony was enormous. I would say that, like, as a tip for the Valentin, there was 2 chairs and a table and lots and lots and lots of space that was left over. It'd be really nice to have like a hammock out there or something, or just like another bench or something, because we had the room. Like, it's so nice, and building 4 is awesome. If you learn nothing else from this video, try to get building 4. We were room 4216. You have to memorize room number because they ask you every time you like go to a restaurant, or sometimes when you put a drink order in, they want to know your room number. We were 4216. So we were 2nd floor, kind of in the middle of the building. We never took the elevator except for when we got there, because the guy had taken us in there with the luggage. But the elevator was real hot and kind of slow. So, and you're going up 1 flight of stairs. Again, every building only has 3 flights max. So stairs are the way to go. It overlooked the jungle, so it wasn't a great view, but you could hear the pool. Like, that's how close it was. And we'll get to it later. I actually went at one point to the pool bar to get a drink for the room, because we were in the room. We were like, oh, I'd kind of like a drink. We don't like beer. In the mini fridge, you saw that they had beer. They have Coke, Sprite, sparkling water, Diet Coke, which is Coca-Cola sin azúcar, water, and beer. And we don't really like beer. So, but building 4, it was so close to the pool, which was awesome. It was so close to the lobby, which was awesome. Like, it's such a great central location. So we, from now on, will be getting a basic category room in building 4. Not the 1st or 2nd floor, not the 1st floor. So either the 2nd or 3rd floor, always. Like 10 out of 10, highly recommend. It was great. I mentioned they had a ceiling fan. I will say I still took my little fan, if you saw the packing video, and I had that on my nightstand blowing. It felt really nice in there, but it's just, Mexico in the summer is just really hot. It's just really hot and humid all the time. So the air was running like constantly, and we had the ceiling fan on. It still is just kind of hot. So if you're someone who really likes it to be cold when you're sleeping, definitely take a fan. You won't be cold, but you'll be more closer. And speaking of cooling down, and I mentioned they had water. So they are known for their eco-friendly practices, and they have glass water bottles, and then they have a built-in bottle opener. And Justin and I are just not good at opening bottles with a bottle opener, like on the side there. I think if we would have had a handheld one, it may have been a little bit easier. So that was a little bit frustrating. Like, I just want some water, and to try and have to deal with that. And I would wake up early in the mornings, and I would want to open a bottle of water to brush my teeth with, and I was trying to do it really quiet to not wake Justin up. And yeah, don't love that, but oh my gosh. I mean, I am like nitpicking. Okay, so we unpacked. I always unpack. I was like, okay, should we go to the beach? Because I know Justin likes the beach. He goes, let's take some time for you to unpack, because I know you'll feel more relaxed when you're unpacked. And it was true, and it was so nice. So got all unpacked, and then we walked down the boardwalk to the bar that's on the beach. There's 2 bars, but it's like the main one. I don't know what it's called. There's like Sunset and Sunrise, or I don't know. It's the one with the swings. And we scanned our first, no, not our first, because we also scanned the QR code when we checked in. We scanned the second QR code. Here's another tip, and most people do, but you have to, you literally have to have a smartphone for it to work. Like, I'm saying, like, you have to have a fan, but like you could make it with that. No, you have to have a smartphone. They have free Wi-Fi. The Wi-Fi is decent. It's pretty good. It's just not on the beach. It doesn't really happen on the beach. Everywhere else is pretty good. And everything that you want to do, basically, you're going to be scanning a QR code. So just kind of know that. Just kind of be prepared for that. I don't love that, because it means, like, when you sit down at a restaurant, so you have to have your phone out and you have to scan it, and then you put an order in, and then you're like, oh, I have like a notification from Instagram, and then you check that, and you kind of get sucked into the phone. And you would look around, like, you're at a nice dinner, and you look around and everybody's looking at their phones. So I do wish, I understand with the pandemic and being eco-friendly, that is kind of how they've maneuvered that, and I understand that, but I don't like it. Anyway, I digress. Short story long. We went to the bar, and we sat on the swings, and I had just the fun drink menu pulled up. They call it, I don't know, the pool bar menu or whatever. There's 4 swings. So first we sat down. There was a couple that was swinging on the other 2. They're from Aruba. They're going to be there for 3 weeks. I was like, oh, you're real rich. Okay. Then they left, and then somebody else sat there. I am super introverted, very, very introverted, but I was just kind of gonna like push myself out of my comfort zone a little bit. So I asked where she was from, and we ended up having like a 2-hour conversation, and it was just nice. Her name is Callie Pierce. She wants to be a professional singer. She has sung the national anthem at an NBA Pelicans game. But we would just like finish the drink that we were on, and then I would pull up the menu on my phone, which I don't love, but I'd pull up the menu on my phone and would be like, let's try this one next. And then Justin would go to the bar behind us. It was like 5 steps away. He'd get a couple of those, and we'd sit there. So it was just lovely. We got to see the sun go down. Like, it was just, and that's a really cool place to be, like temperature wise, because you have that ocean breeze and you're on a swing and you're drinking fun, delightful drinks. Ticket to, I was going to say Ticket to Ride, but it's not that. Ticket to Fly was one that I really like. It was a blended drink down there. So yeah, we did that. We sat there for a long time. Oh, and then we went back. So I had already told you we had not ordered room service ever. And we had kind of already planned out that first night. It was just going to be Justin and I. Our friends weren't coming until the next day. We knew we were going to be getting up crazy early, and it was going to be a long day. So we're like, we're going to order room service. We ordered it. They said it's going to take like 45 minutes, and it took 45 minutes, which is a bummer. Because you know when you like, maybe you don't even notice you're hungry, but then you know food's coming, and all of a sudden all you can think about is food. They do have potato chips in the mini bar, but I was like, no, like food is coming. So it took a while, but it came, and I got pasta pomodoro, a huge portion, and it was so good. The problem was I also got chips with guac and pico, and I don't even know if that's on the menu. I'm trying to think, because I think I just said, can I have a side order of chips? And they said, yeah, and then it came with guac and pico. So I had eaten a lot of that, so I ended up not eating very much of my pasta, but it was super good. It wasn't because of the taste. Justin got the hamburger with fries, and it was really good. The fries were not great, but fries are hard in a humid environment on room service because they're not going to be crispy. So it's just kind of what it is. And then he got an apple pie. It wasn't like a slice, it was like a little pie, so there wasn't a lot of filling, but he liked it. I don't like pie, so I didn't try that, but he said that that was good. So that's really nice, and room service is included. I think it's 24 hours a day, so that was a really nice way. We ate out on our balcony, utilizing the table and chairs. I think I may have even, they give you robes and slippers, so I think I may have even like thrown that on. So it was just awesome. And then we slept because we had been awake since 1:30 in the morning. So it was a really long first day, but it was a really good first day, and I can see I'm at like 30 minutes. So this is just day one, part one. I'm guessing at least 2 more parts to come. So be sure to go ahead and subscribe and hit that notification if you'd like to see what the rest of our trip was like. I will see you in the next video.